The only locally produced farm radio show with agricultural news, information, interviews, in-depth weather, and more. It's Terry Henne and his Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A mostly cloudy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester. Hope you had a nice weekend, kind of an interesting weekend. A little bit on the chilly side, a cold start, and then a few flurries early, and then things for the most part kind of calmed down just a little. But those temperatures just stayed outright cold. Matter of fact, I think it was Saturday morning. We started off at 1 degree, came along yesterday. We started off at 0, pretty chilly for all intents and purposes this morning. We're looking at 0 for Saginaw. Carroll looking at 1, Cass City at 2 below, Bad Axe at 2, Caseville 2, Midland at 1, Elma at 2, West Branch 4 degrees, Glenny, a little bit further to the north, 1 below. Harrisville, 4 below. Atlanta, 7 below. Ionia, all the way over on the west side of the state, 2 degrees. Granville, 0. Owasso, 0. Lapeer at 2. Lexington at 2. But then you get a little bit further to the north and to the west. Temperatures in the double digits. We saw no single digits in the northwestern third of the Lower Peninsula overnight last night. Our temperatures did recover just a little as we went through the morning hours. We were downright cold, as you can tell, but then we did see some temperatures move up into the teens, and hopefully by the end of the day, we should work our way up close to 20 degrees. Matthew, how far away are we from that right now?
Well, over at the airport, it's cloudy at 17. Over in Midland, it's cloudy at 16. Here at Radio Center, it's cloudy at 18. We have south winds at 17 miles per hour, gusting up to 28 miles per hour, and our pressure is at 30.18, and it's falling.
Needless to say, we've got quite a wind chill going. We're going to be looking at a projected high temperature of 20. I think we should make it. But again, we're going to have that wind to contend with coming out of the southwest, gusting to better than 35 miles per hour. As Matthew said, we've had some wind gusts close to that as we've moved in through the morning hours. Snow shower activity will be around, cloudy skies. The snow showers will be scattered, but they'll pop up just about anywhere at any time as we go through the day. Then mostly cloudy skies tonight. I'm not going to be looking at anything in the way of snow showers. 13 degrees is going to be our low tonight. Sun will set this evening at 5:01, rise tomorrow morning at 8:03. A little bit warmer tomorrow. We should hit 32 degrees for a high. There will be a chance of seeing some sun around tomorrow. We're not really going to get all that cold. After a high of 32, we'll only drop down to about 29 for a low tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sun. 36 will be our high, 21 will be our low on Wednesday night. And then the temperatures after midnight are going to be climbing as we move into Thursday morning. That's because a system will be approaching the warm front ahead of it. And our temperatures on Wednesday will be 36, 37. Thursday will be at 42 for a high. Again, the low pressure is going to be well to the north, so we're on the south side of it. We're the warm side of it, and that's why we are going to see a pretty good chance of seeing some rain shower activity. But northern Michigan, as we go through the day on Thursday, there is going to be a chance of seeing some freezing precipitation. By that, I mean freezing rain. What's going to happen is a cold front is going to have to drop down through the state, and it will as we move through the day on Thursday, because Thursday night, after a high of 42, we're going to drop down to 15 for a low. And that obviously is going to mean any precipitation, and there will be some. It'll be changing into freezing precipitation and then just plain old snow on Thursday night. Cloud cover will dominate as we finish off the work week and into the weekend. middle 20s for a high on Friday. Then we'll peak out in the upper 30s for Saturday, and then drop back down to 30 for a high on Sunday. All the way through this period, our nighttime temperatures are going to be anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees, which means any moisture that we've got, if it rolls in through the evening hours, it will be in the form of snow and very possibly some freezing precipitation. Long range outlook, though, to take us all the way through the 28th. So we're moving past Christmas into the weekend after Christmas. Overall, temperatures will average out to be above normal. Precipitation values will be at or slightly above normal as well. So, ever changing as far as our weather scene goes. How much snow are we going to have for Christmas? Well, it all depends on how much snow you got right now and what the form of that precipitation is going to be late Wednesday night and then during the day on Thursday and Thursday night. Again, with nighttime temperatures in the upper 20s on Wednesday night as the temperature rises, and then Thursday night right around 15, we could get just a little bit of anything as far as the moisture goes. Plain old rain, freezing rain, and or snow. We'll just have to keep our eye on it. What's happening right now is the jet stream, where those low pressure systems are tracking, is running across southern Canada, just north of the United States border. So that's why we're getting the weather we're getting, and that's the reason why we will be getting the weather that we're talking about, with slightly above average on the temperatures as we move through the next 7 to 10 days. What's going to be happening over the holidays? That jet stream is going to continue to run across that southern tier of provinces in Canada. It's going to take a few days as we roll into January before we begin to see a little bit of a change. And by that, I mean a resumption of some cold air. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if a good part of the month of January takes shape just like December did, where we start off with some pretty chilly weather and we keep it for a couple, if not 3 weeks, and then things will moderate just a little bit. Again, that's the way this winter looks like it's going to be shaping up with these temperature variances, but the temperature variances do take a few days, if not a couple of weeks or so, to run their course. What's average for this time of the year? 35 in the afternoon, 23 at night. Again, once we talk about above average temperatures, that doesn't mean we're going to be looking at 40s or warmer. It means 33, 34, 35 during the day is going to be considered above normal as we move through the Christmas holiday. Record high on this date set 4 years ago, 62 was our high. And the period of 2021 on the 15th of December was the warmest ever on record. 62 was our high, 42 was our low. Record low in the state is 7 below zero. That was set in 1917, but that wasn't the coldest 15th of December. 1916 was the coldest. 8 was our high. 3 below was our low. The most snow on this date, you got to go back to 1937. We had 9 inches of snow on this day. Incidentally, Flint did break a record low temperature yesterday. They dropped down to 0. The old low temperature was 1 degree. So they broke the record by 1 degree. But again, it was record breaking in a number of areas around. The only reason why we didn't break the record on the 14th of December was 7 below zero, and that was set in 1917. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by. Matthew, who do we have today?
Coming up next, we have Gary Kaufman from Star of the West, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
But before we get to them, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Simplot Growing Solutions. Don't forget tomorrow, big meeting that'll be held at the Saginaw Valley Research and Extension Center, and we'll be broadcasting our farm program from there. This event starts at 8:30 in the morning, and it goes throughout the morning with lunch being served. Lunch will be provided at 1 o'clock. So bring your RUP card. RUP and CCA credits will be available at the meeting. A number of speakers, a lot of very important information will be handed out. So you might definitely want to, hopefully you've registered for it, and hopefully you'll be there. We'll be more than happy to say hello and talk a little bit about what's going to be happening in 2026 at the Saginaw Valley Research and Extension Center in the Reese-Richville area. Brought to you by the folks at Simplot Grower Solutions. We say good morning to Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. Gary, I hope you had a nice weekend.
I sure did, and as long as I was indoors, I was very comfortable. So.
And the fireplace was going?
A little bit here and there, yes, for sure.
Yeah. What's going on in Chicago these days?
Boy, I tell you, Terry, we're kind of hitting the lows of the days here again. You know, we continue to have, corn and wheat for the most part has been just trending sideways to lower, but soybeans has really been taking it on the chin. We're down about $1 since the November 18th high. We're about a nickel away from the 100-day moving average that filled that open chart gap that we got at 1063, and we're trading at 1068 right now, but it really looks like a classic case of the old saying, buy the rumor, sell the fact, Terry, because we've seen a bullish rally in advance of China's return to the U.S. market and is now liquidating in the face of the actual sales. So it's a pretty classic saying in the grain market. But soybeans and then South America weather is just, there really is no issue down there. Weather seems to be pretty beneficial all the way through the end of December, Terry. So, and then on the wheat front, world wheat continues to show increase in production. This time it was Argentina boosting production. So, it's just a lot of bearish news, no real weather issues. We just, we're not far away from getting another crop next month as we start harvesting in South America. So
yeah, what's going on in Australia? Usually they're a player in our markets.
Yeah, I mean the last time I looked there, they've had a pretty good wheat crop there as well, Terry. I haven't heard of no issues there, but it doesn't matter if you're looking at Australia, Argentina. It's just they've had a good year of production. So
yeah. And that's what the traders are watching right now. And boy, I'll tell you, it's going to be tough go here by the end of the year. What I would have to assume we've had some producers that are protected from this downturn, huh?
Well, yeah, you would think so with the crop insurance pricing. It was set at a quite a bit of higher level. I don't know have the exact levels, but that's their protection is some of the crop insurance pricing that they put in place with their local insurance agencies. But at the end of the day, there's other options that they can do too, as far as a put or a call option, and protect that downside as well.
So right now on the board at Star of the West, what do you have, Gary?
Yeah, right now, let's call cash wheat down 8, Terry, at 501 on the white, 426 on the red. New crop for next year, also down 8 at 528 on the white, 443 on the red. Cash corn currently down 4 at 377. New crop for 26 down 2 at $4. Cash soybeans down 9 at 998, and new crop is down 2 at 1006.
Well, let's get to work, okay?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully this is the low of the week.
I sure hope so. Well, Gary, you take care. Have a good one. All right.
You too, Terry. Thank
Gary
you.
Kaufman over at Star of the West. A little bit more in depth. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer joining us. The market report brought to you by Thumb Bank. You know, farming today has a whole lot of challenges, and Thumb Bank has been keeping up with challenges in farming all the way back to 1895. They'll help. They'll recommend some things, some changes to your operation that you just might need to implement in order to keep your operation going. It hasn't been easy for a lot of folks, but hopefully, if you have the opportunity to work with Thumb Bank, at least you're working with professionals who've been through it all, not only once, twice, but a whole bunch of times. Thumb Bank, 13 locations throughout the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay area, where relationships are built on trust. Market report also brought to you by Michigan Truck Spring of Saginaw, your complete parts and service headquarters, light, medium, heavy-duty trucks and trailers, as well as buses and recreational vehicles. Quality parts, quality service, very competitive prices for well over 45 years. 800-358-4751 or buy online at truckspring.com. And that service area is open until 11 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Doug Klein, good morning.
Well, good morning.
What are we looking at now?
A lot of volatility again today. That's kind of red on the averages. We got precious metals okay today, except for gold. Platinum hit an all-time high today, so that's still okay. Walmart hit a new high. Raytheon hit a new high. Crypto, Bitcoin got down to 87,000, so actually broke through 87,000, so it's risk off there. Just like I said, a lot of volatility. Well, anyway, here's your numbers. The March corn is 437 1/4, down 3.5. September corn 447, down 3. The March soybeans 1078 1/4, down 8.5. September soybeans 1081 1/4, down 2. The March wheat 521 1/2, down 7 3/4, and September wheat 550 1/4, also down 7 1/4. And sugar's at 14.87, down 23 cents. The crude oil is 56.34, down 90 cents. Heating oil 217.70, down 2.1 cents. Gasoline 172.74, down 2.5 cents. Natural gas is 403.9, down 7.4 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys $1.3771 Canadian. That's up 2 ticks. The dollar buys 155.31 yen. That's down 50 ticks. The euro's at 117.54, up 14 ticks. And the dollar's at 98.28, down 11 ticks. Gold's at $4,307.50, down $3.80. Silver is $62.70, up $1.15. Platinum's $18.12.80, up $50.30, and copper's at $535.65, up 5.5 cents.
All right. You have a good one. We'll hopefully be able to stay afloat here for the week.
No kidding. No kidding.
Wow. Something else. Talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
All righty. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain, your Dairyland seed headquarters. You know, there's all sorts of things that you should be doing here as we wind up for 2025, pricing ahead on some things, checking on inventory on some things. Are you going to have what you need for next year at a price that you can afford? Might be a very good idea right now to be talking to the consultants at Freeland Bean and Grain, because serving you is their business. They've been doing it since 1983, Freeland Bean and Grain. Matthew, who do we have on deck?
Coming up next, we have Robert Stoutenberg, and he's an agronomist with Michigan Sugar Company. And we also have Jerry Samulski from the Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville.
Let's touch base right now with Rob Stoutenberg with Michigan Sugar. His report brought to you by the folks at Foster Blue Water Oil and Blue Flame Propane. Well, Rob, give us an update here. How are we doing?
We're doing pretty good, Terry. Last week, we wrapped up all of our district meetings across all 3 districts and even in Canada. And we're doing pretty good. The factories are running nicely, and we're just out there talking with guys, trying to figure out, what the best type of seed is moving into this next year and what we can change to increase their yields.
Yeah, I know some producers had quite a few questions when it came to the different varieties and what they should be looking at, because there was leaf spot out there, but as you mentioned once before, and a couple of the other guys did too, it was really spotty. There were some places that there was devastation there. In other places, it wasn't quite as bad.
Yep, that's true, sir. I'm trying to think of the number off the top of my head. I think we had about 70,000 acres that had some form of economic damage. So you take 70,000 out of 140, that's 50%. But it was, farm by farm basis, you call it.
And any particular reason why? What, the weather?
The weather was a big driving factor. The drought that we had, when it gets dry, those leaves lay on the ground, and that's where the inoculum is. The biggest thing is if we can get some rain, consistent rain, I'll call that, I think we'll be in much better shape.
And right now, with the opportunity out there of maybe a little bit of melting, hopefully we can add a little moisture to the ground, because that ground underneath the snow is pretty dry.
Oh, absolutely. Our reservoirs are still pretty dry. We've been in a drought for the past 2 years and still have not recovered from it.
So at this stage of the game, producers-wise, your suggestion would be?
If you have any questions about seed, fertility, or spray programs, reach out to your agriculturalist or ag manager or agronomist, and we'll help you get a plan in place for the upcoming year. I mean, that time of the year, I'd like to have a plan in place moving forward.
Yeah. Rob, you take care. We'll talk to you again next week. All righty?
All right. You too, Terry. Thank you.
Okay, Rob Stoutenberg with Michigan Sugar. Let's touch base right now with Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Jerry, what should we be doing right now?
Terry, I don't know if we should be doing this, but it's just, listening to you earlier, just a moment ago, talking about the deep moisture. That this weather and the moisture really has an effect on material, of how they make it through the year and what they look like next spring when they wake up. So, this little warm spell that we're going to have is going to be great. You're right. Hopefully it recharges our soil moisture and helps along with that and keeps moisture for plants, particularly those evergreens. Even though it's freezing outside, they still let moisture off through their foliage and in their bark. They have pores in their tissues just like we do, and we can get windburned out there. So they still need good moisture all winter long. And with this heat spell we're going to get in midweek this week, that might cause some problems. We don't know. We'll find out next spring when everything wakes up and what did well and what didn't. And we'll be able to tell maybe it was that factor in December when we had that warm 3 or 4 days. But typically it takes a week or 2 weeks of better temperatures to help make that large impact on plants. But, when we have weather in plants, we always have issues.
Oh, we sure do. Jerry, we'll talk to you again tomorrow. All righty?
Yes, sir.
Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Eric Sawatsky joining us right now from Yo and Yo. Give us some details right now on the new Michigan Research and Development Tax Credit, Eric.
Yeah, Terry, there's been a federal tax credit for research and development expenses for businesses for many, many years. So some businesses are used to doing the calculations needed for that credit. But now new for the 2025 tax year is a similar credit on the Michigan side. And this is going to be available for regular corporations and all pass-through entities. So your LLCs, partnerships, S corporations. So most businesses in Michigan, you have to have research and development activities that happen within the state. So if you're got things going outside of the state, that might be eligible for federal, but not Michigan. So it has to be in Michigan. And then the one thing to really be aware of is the filing deadlines for this. So year one for the 2021 tax filing year, because it's new, they're giving us till April 1st to file the initial return. If you don't file by that date, it sounds like there's a possibility you may not get the credit at all. The state of Michigan, when they passed this law, put a dollar amount allocated towards the credit. And so depending on how many people apply for the credit for their business, they may be prorated because they can't go over that capped amount as far as the total credit given out. So April 1st is the deadline this year. And then the next year, it's actually going to be March 15th every year that you would have to file a credit request basically for the Michigan R&D credit. And this is a separate filing through the Michigan Treasury Online system. So it's not on any of the business tax returns or anything like that. But of course, it goes in, kind of coordinates with those. So just be aware those deadlines are going to come up really quick if you're thinking about doing that this year. And the other thing is, if you don't even do the federal R&D tax credit, you still may be eligible for the Michigan credit. So if you're thinking that's something you do in your business, you have a decent amount of research and development expenses, definitely get with your CPA and talk about that now, because the deadline's going to be short and quick this year.
Eric Sawatsky, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You have a great day. Eric Sawatsky with Yo and Yo Accounting. Back at 12:30 with an update. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coin in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.